All right. Am I here? Am I here or am I there? I'm there. Okay, so far, so good. The question is, am I going to be pressing the right buttons at the right time and making things happen here as they should? Using a little bit of new technology here, although it's not so new to me. Haps.tv here. ShineCast has finally joined this platform, which is becoming rather popular here early in 2021 because, well, other platforms are saying goodbye in a few weeks. Well, certainly one in particular. And so, yeah, indeed, we've taken the opportunity just to see how things roll here at the moment. Hello, Johnny B. Good. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to share, like, and follow wherever you are. But hey, you know what? As this goes out live, it's Friday, the 15th of January, 2021, which means that recently, on this day every week, I've been speaking with someone who hopefully, and it's less hope than just getting the right buttons pressed here, he's going to join me right now, and that will be Mr. Is he going to be there? Jimmie Heaven from Nagoya, Japan. Look, so far so good, Jimmie. It seems to be. Oh no, we can't hear you. Oh no, I've got to allow that.
Mute me.
Yeah, I was going to say we can see you, but that's an extra privilege that to hear you as well.
Good afternoon.
Hello to you.
I don't like you with that kind of control, control over my speech.
I know it's bad, isn't it? Because
yes, it is.
Past, you just talk and it happens. Yeah. Hey, just for anyone that's wondering, yes, Jimmie is using a green screen, and this is kind of unique, I guess, because you're actually using a green screen, and the picture on the green screen is a green screen, or have I kind of got that wrong?
That's a real green screen.
Yeah,
but
you're not superimposing a green screen on your green screen, is what I'm saying.
No, not yet.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, not yet. You just haven't superimposed it. Yeah, I won't share with the viewers out there and listeners just how things were going when you were testing earlier on.
Blackmail. Is this blackmail?
Yeah, blackmails matter. Jimmie, what are you drinking there? We need to have a check on that.
I think this might be the same kind. I bought a couple bottles. An inexpensive Chianti. Cheers.
Yeah. And how's it tasting at the moment? Is it tasting good?
It's great. So how you doing in England? What's going on in London?
Well, for a start, as you can see, I've suddenly swapped places with you. Hey, this is good, that isn't it? You can. Should I? It wasn't intentional. No. How are things in London at the moment? They are trying for a lot of people. Trying times, of course, with the old pandemic. Trying times. What about yourself?
Oh well, I live in a prefecture called Aichi. There's 47 prefectures in Japan. About like a week ago, I think was 4 prefectures. Was it 4 prefectures went into? Was it kind of like an emergency state? They don't do lockdowns here, but a little bit of asking the public to be careful, asking restaurants to close a little earlier. And so my prefecture came into being in one of these areas now too. So now there's 11 prefectures, and I'm in Aichi. So yeah, so now we're in this emergency state supposedly until February 7th. But of course, the first time we had this going on, it was like last year, maybe it was in May or June, I can't remember. Everybody was much more careful this time. Everybody's gotten a little bit used to it, and I know that the death rate is still pretty low in Japan, so I think it has to do with there's a lot of factors that of course I couldn't be sure, but there's a lot of factors that fall into why. Probably hygiene, the language, which isn't you don't blow out as much as you do as in other languages, so that could be another thing. Close contact.
You mean expelling the droplets that all the scientists
have been exactly. In Japanese speech, you don't do that as much. And also, like public transportation, people don't talk. People are quite quiet, and they are very respectful to people's personal spaces. So that might be a big deal too. So.
That's a general thing. I've always had that.
You know what? And there's less testing. There's much less testing. That's another thing. I think they've just started increasing the testing, but they still the testing is probably a lot less than, let's say, the United States. So, the numbers are not going to be as big as it's not going to be real numbers. So it's just, the numbers that they've tested. This is how many people have got it. I'm sure that's probably a lot more people. I mean, there's a lot of what was it, asymptomatic or people who have no symptoms. So, if you have no symptoms, why are you going to check, right? Then there's people that with no symptoms that are getting checked because of where their workspace or their workplace or, their situation where they have to be checked. So that's the situation. So I know we actually was, I think the official count is close to 20,000 now, I'm thinking. In the past 2 weeks, 20,000 recorded infections or whatever it is. Yeah, the people with COVID-19.
Yeah. Well, over here in the UK, we've had like a day where a lot of people, the most people have been admitted to hospital, confirmed with coronavirus. It's going up all the time. Well, it certainly has been over recent days. Are we flattening the curve, as I said originally when the first lockdown took place here in England? Well, I think we're not quite there yet. But again, the politicians, it's just clear, it's just obvious that they are chasing their tails. There's no end game in sight. They
obviously, regardless of politicians, we shouldn't even think about politicians. Politicians, they don't really have any say or know anything in general. So really, it's to bring them up. It's pointless. And the health officials, I'm not even too sure about them. They're the so-called health officials. There may be a few that are have something good to say.
Yeah,
but the best you can do is read.
They're the ones who are making the new laws up and running the.
They have no idea what's
going
situation,
on. And they can't even run a bath tap.
No good ideas ever come out of government. No good ideas, regardless of COVID. No ideas come out of government. It's always going to be from the private sector. That's just a fact. So every time the more government control, the worse the situations usually become. In any case, but you know what? I hope they're trying. I think they're trying a little bit. But most people in government are just worried about keeping their job.
The average person, obviously, this is good. The fact is that from what they've displayed so far, it's just shocking, their attempts at gaining control of the situation. Every step of the way, they've allowed the virus, the problem, to dictate how things are going to be. Tomorrow, the day after, that's where they're focusing on, and they haven't yet
made it clear. Everybody should get pay cuts in the government until it's solved.
They're thinking long term. They shut down the economy. They tell everyone to stay at home, and no education at one point originally, and then they just they demonstrate that there is no leadership, as we've said before on these broadcasts. So ultimately the advice that I would give people is stay sensible and stay safe by just going out and about your daily life with the essentials. I mean, that's the advice at the moment from government, but that's just logical, sensible advice. Minimize your contact with other people. It's ironic, isn't it? Because we're one of the most social animals on the planet. And, part of education as children are growing up is to encourage them. And often a lot of children need that encouragement to mix and interact and to socialize and to learn from their peers. But now we're having to remind them every hour of every day that we can't do that right now. With the online learning, it's just not the same as being in the same room as a teacher and your peers, and as well as learning what you're being taught and the tutor doing their job. You still, along the way, there's all that social interaction, and you don't realize how important it is. Obviously, a lot of the time, it's like a lot of things in life, until it's not there anymore. It's not able to be there.
I'm doing some teaching online, and I have no problem with it. I think it's of course it's a different thing to be in a classroom with other people, but I I think you know what most people just don't know how to use the media correctly at this time. So like when you say there's no social contact, that's I mean for me, I mean I'm talking to well. It's part of my work too, but I talk to a lot of people every day. I talk to, I think one on one. I'm talking, because I teach, but not only because I teach, because I too keep in contact uh, through video. Was it chats with at least 30 people, if not more, a week, and I'm spending a good hour with each of them, probably sometimes up to 40 people a week per, one on one. So, and including you, even though we're not doing this, we talk with it once or twice a week for a good hour. So, and you are in England and I'm in Japan. So, I think just people have still not caught on to the possibilities of what can be done.
Well, with the technology, the possibilities are endless. So long as the technology stays on our side. At the moment, I say that because I'm just checking. I don't know. Did you see the blip there on our broadcast? And I'm just wondering if we're kind of still live there and it's still happening. I think we're okay still, but there was a little blip there. But when you're broadcasting, you don't know whether the blip was just on the equipment that we're broadcasting from, and no one else will see it because it was just that piece of equipment and it didn't actually affect the signal, the video feed, or if indeed it was replicated when people were watching back live. But no, we're still live anyway, whether there was a blip or not. I'll check it back later as it's one of our first ones here on HAPS TV. Hey, those of you that are new to us, I don't know if you are new to HAPS.tv, you might not know about HAPS TV because we're not only broadcasting on that platform. Just to explain that usually, if you're broadcasting from anywhere, a TV channel, radio station, or online video podcasts, this sort of thing, well, you can produce your program and then you've got to decide, well, where your program or show's got to go somewhere, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or another video platform. And you can broadcast straight to that platform and that's it, just the one platform. But in recent times, people have utilized and implemented technology where you can broadcast. It's a bit like going to a telephone exchange or a switchboard. And in fact, one of them is called switchboard. Yes, it is. You broadcast to a service, a company, and they will simultaneously put out your broadcast to various live video platforms, YouTube, Twitter, which is Periscope at the moment until it closes down, Twitch TV, Facebook, etc., etc. However, we're currently producing this on a new platform, new in the big picture, really, of the internet, called haps.tv. You can check out their website. Alternatively, you can go to your iOS store, App Store, or Android store and download the app. It's in beta phase at the moment, so there's a few things that they're tweaking, should we put it like that, and they've had a big influx, and they're having to scale, I think, in a way that possibly they weren't aware of before an announcement was made, a handful of weeks ago from Periscope, owned by Twitter, that they were closing down. So a lot of people have migrated over to this platform now, which means that there's a lot more traffic and their servers are a bit more congested than usual. I think they're supported by Amazon.
A lot of sites or social media sites are being crowded. I think a lot of people are migrating to not to leave one site or another, but to actually, what do you call, don't put your eggs in one basket. So I'm signing up for a bunch of stuff. Of course, Parler's down. We heard in the past week. I'm hoping that
Parler's kind of supposed to be. They're saying it's the new Facebook.
I hope. Well, I don't think they're like Facebook. But they're all similar right now. At this moment, they're all very similar. Parler, I've signed up for. It's down now. I'm hoping it's going to be back up in a few days or a week. What else is there? Rumble. So I'm on Rumble, but I don't know how to, upload a live feed to, like we can do on YouTube, on my YouTube channel where you're doing live. But Gab is another one. I'm wondering if we could just, I could add it to Gab. That's great. That would be great too. The multicasting feature. And what else? And of course, there's, what else is there? Telegram. But a lot
Telegram, I haven't heard that mentioned for a long time. Telegram, a lot of business people using the Telegram network.
Well,
yes.
I think I've signed up for it. I'm not sure because it takes so long to sign up on all these sites because of there's such a big exodus from Twitter and Facebook in general. So they were talking like 10,000. Was it people joining in an hour? I think I think it was Gab. So Gab looks great, but it just takes right now. It's taking so long just to refresh a page. And I guess the other one is MeWe. Is that what it is? MeWe.
I
So
haven't heard of
I'm
MeWe.
probably joining.
Are
I'm
you
probably
telling me
joining
that's
that.
something that they use in the Far East more than they do,
No,
say, in
no,
Europe
no,
and
no,
whatever?
no, no, no. This is something that they're using. Was it they're using in the United States and Europe, I think. So
Okay.
the next generation social network with no ads, no spyware, no BS, and not for sale. So there you go. That's what the MeWe called. So I mean, well, as far as it goes now, that's the case. So I'm signing. I'm trying to sign up to as many of these as possible, and of course, I probably will keep Facebook, but I'll probably wean myself off of it and just keep it just because I have certain contacts that it's a good networking site, but I can't really take it as seriously anymore as for getting like information that I'm interested in. So I keep it open just to Anyway, so it's good to diversify. Basically, that's the basic deal. I'm not going to say one is worse than the other, but got to diversify.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you see me, which I've often been doing here
Haps
while
is
you've been
great. I
talking,
think I know we're having a little technical difficulties, but Haps I think is great. I think Haps is great. I like the way it looks. I'm not completely familiar with it and how I know there's a lot of bugs that could be worked out. Uh, and I know you have a lot of suggestions that you could make
mm,
that would help them out.
yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
and especially from your angle, I think it would be very useful for them.
possibly. I mean, I'm just looking here. I've tried to highlight some of the comments that are coming in here. We hello to you, hello to me, and she hopes we're both doing well. I hope you're doing well wherever you happen to be, whoever you are. As I said earlier on, Johnny, be good. He's been following us for a while, and he said hello. I'm a bit concerned now because I see everything has just decided to say goodbye, which is interesting on here. I think Jimmy's, we'll just wait to see what happens there. Lucky
What are
I'm
you talking about?
monitoring this back
What are you talking about? What do you
because
mean? Am I not moving?
are you still there? Are you still there?
Yeah,
Are you?
I'm here.
Oh, yeah, yeah, on the actual production system here, both of us. Oh, good, 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 good. But again, now my screen's gone completely, well, blank with nothing on it. Right, not you, not me, but I can hear you, of course. And I'm lucky. I'm checking back the broadcast because it does say to me at the moment. I'm looking and checking. It's got a couple of blips there, but on the whole, it's no. You're okay there, Jimmy, and I'm just looking. That's interesting. Yeah, it's having a struggle with me, and we'll just wait a few moments. Are you still there? Can you hear me nice and clearly?
Yes, I am. Of course. Yeah, I can hear great.
Yeah, interesting. We'll have to
What are you?
persevere, see what happens.
Are you
And
having
the problem,
technical difficulties? Is that what it is?
yeah, I'm just looking at the moment, and I'm just noticing. I think it's the network connection here, actually. You see, so there you go. Always good to keep tabs on that, but that's very bizarre that should happen. There you are. That's why, as I say, as you know, Jimmy, I've been implementing various bits of new technology here, whether it's internet connectivity, sorting that out, but to so soon introduce something else, which is using a new platform and the new way that works, and juggling it all, because when it happens, like it just did, I don't know if you can see the picture quality here, very poor now, but I've managed to, like I say, while creating the content, while we're live, also having to juggle diagnosing where the problem is. It's no easy task, let me tell you. But at least we're on that now, so we know what's going on there. Good.
Great. Yeah. So today is what? Friday. Oh, look at that. Why is Brenda? Was it is she like notifying us from two different places? Is that what it is? Hi Martin. Hi Jimmy. Hope you're both well. Thank you, Brenda. And then we got another one. And what is that? Is Haps. So she was on Facebook and now she moved over to Haps. I guess that's what it is, right? Would that not be so?
Possibly. It could be so. It could
Yeah,
well be.
yeah. Looks great. She
Could
says it
be.
looks great. Yeah. So how often? I mean, like you're in this like London is a very
So
like
that's good.
harsh lockdown state. Was it? How often do you getting out? Do you get out?
No, it's
Do
not.
you get out?
That's the problem. They
It's
wanted it
not.
to be.
Well, I don't think it's
They
a
wanted it to
problem.
be
It's
a.
as long as
They
people are
wanted it to be a
careful.
harsh lockdown.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you can't restrict
They
people. I think
wanted
you
it
got
to
to
be
be
a
careful.
harder lockdown here in London. Yes, so as I was saying, they wanted it to be a harder lockdown in London, very much so. And the way they announced it, it was going to be like the lockdown 1, and this is lockdown 3. But you wouldn't know it was a lockdown if you walked outside anywhere at the moment. Really, it's pretty frightening to see how many people just aren't paying attention because everyone has been given the option. Really, they've been told how severe this can be if you catch the virus and what the consequences can be, and everyone now knows this. We're almost a year on with
So
this
we're actually getting
pandemic.
used. You can't say that it's because it's they're getting used to it. You get tired. You know,
But
get
after
tired.
a year, yeah, after a year, yeah, everyone's got fatigue as well, but they're going to have more fatigue because if the longer they don't listen, so the longer they're going to have
Well,
to be
here's the problem.
hearing
It's
this new information. And the thing is, right, we're on the 3rd lockdown now. Everyone has been told, well, what the scientists believe is good advice, obviously, along with therefore the politicians. I know you don't want them mentioned too much, but yeah, the politicians as well have relayed what the scientists are advising them. So everyone's been told the facts. And what's happened is we don't have the army on the streets of the UK right now. And
thank
everyone's
God.
been, well, you say that, but everyone's been told all this information, and it's up to them to exercise their initiative and use a bit of common sense. But a lot of
Yes.
people clearly aren't, and that's what happens. And that's why we need rule. That's why we need leadership, and we need someone to say enough's enough. We are locking down properly for 6 weeks. Everything's got to
I
shut down
don't know.
again.
No, 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 no,
Well,
no, no, no.
there's no middle ground here
There's
because
no. What
because
is it? You're
if you
just going to
give
crush people's
Jimmy,
businesses? Like that's
Jimmy,
ridiculous.
if you give someone an inch, they'll take a mile. You know that old phrase, and never has it been so true other than now. It's so obvious. It's stark out there at the moment. What's going on?
Yeah. Just to plunge the whole country or all of society into like despair. It's ridiculous. I mean, to be careful is one thing. To advise people is one thing. To set things up for people to be make it easier for them to be careful. I understand. I mean, the biggest thing is the medical field that they have to take the brunt of the people that are sick. So I understand that part. Um, but yeah, to shut down businesses completely is I just don't think there's got to be maybe you know what this past year is that more infrastructure should have been built for this. And as you're trying to work with the as far as on the web, internet sales, people doing stuff online, I think that it's really a lot of people are still not caught on. It's a year, and it takes time, of course, but they still have not caught on to a lot of things.
Well, right. Again, how long does it take people? I mean, this is the thing, yeah. I mean, this is why communities and nations need leadership, and you need to just stick to a plan, and you need to be authoritative because, as I've just said, it's a bit like if you've ever seen that TV show. It's a global one now. A lot of places it's yesterday, but it was Big Brother, one of the first reality TV shows to
Yeah, I
ever
don't
start
like
up.
those
Yeah,
kind of shows too
and
much.
and you just have to look at the chaos when there's no one who's given the role of leading the house, managing the house. No one person. I mean, there were experiments in the house. The producers did at points. Once it was underway, that program, subsequently to just putting people in the house and seeing what they do and how chaotic it becomes, they then started giving tasks to certain people. And yeah, sure, soon after it was initiated, the show, they then said, yep, this person here out of the 12 or however many were in the house, you're going to be managing everyone and telling them what to do and leading them effectively. And you just need that. You do need that, because if everybody's doing their own thing, it's just going to be chaos. Come on, you
Sure,
need
I
everyone
understand that. I
working for a
understand.
common cause, and
Absolutely.
putting their energy towards a common plan.
I
And
absolutely understand that. But the
right,
shutting
well,
down
people
business
have been.
so
So
for
for you to
6 weeks.
try and excuse, when I just said before, we're almost a year on, and look how much chaos is still going on with the public conducting themselves and their daily routine. No, no, no excuse. If you're in a war situation, which is what a lot of people have called this, the invisible enemy,
Complete
like the virus.
lockdown, a complete lockdown would have made very little difference, I think. I mean, sure, it would have slowed down the virus, but to actually get rid of it, it's not going to happen. It's so
No, you
just
won't get. No, 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 Jimmy. You will not rid the world of the virus by lockdown,
yeah,
because, as we've said it before, okay, if you put everybody inside their little houses, yeah, okay, and apartments in their four walls, and they don't go outside,
under
that doesn't mean the
21.
virus stops. Doesn't mean that the virus stops existing and being in the outdoor world. Okay, it might be on leaves, on trees, on plants, and other animals walking around, that sort of thing. Yeah, but the point is, you're not coming into contact. You've got less likelihood of catching the disease, because you're not coming into contact with the virus, and you're minimizing your travel. Okay, and for 6 weeks, that's huge. But even, there are people out there, they were having parties. Even now, they're getting fined, and they're having to be fined by
I
the law.
understand it. I understand that.
They're having parties, they're having social gatherings underground, away from where you
You're
know
not going to be able to
public
stop that no
areas
matter
are.
what.
Yeah, but
So trying
you've
to
got to a
force
point
people to
now
just
where
into
people who
one.
might normally not think in this way are, because they're thinking, well, if they can do it, and if it's good enough for them, I'm going to do it, and I say risk it. Yeah, it's not a good situation still, and even with the vaccine, I mean, even that's another story. I mean, right now there's only so much vaccine you can produce every minute, every hour, every day, every week. Yeah,
Yeah.
but here we are. The government just don't say it like that. We are limited to the amount of vaccine we can distribute every week, every month, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just make that clear instead of telling everyone now what they're going to do. We said before, the original plan was you need 2 injections of the vaccine, and they were going to
Is
be.
that a global plan or is that just England's plan? What's the deal? Is that because I have no idea. I mean, I don't
Every
hear too much about
vaccine
the
needs
vaccine here.
2 injections,
Okay.
and the pharmaceuticals, the scientists all advised that you have 1 injection, and then 6 weeks later you have your second injection. But our government, some smart person with a brain the size of a pea, maybe a grain of rice, actually, maybe, we need to downgrade it to that. We can't be too generous with them. Someone decided that the best way forward would be, instead of vaccinating the same person, Jimmy Heaven, once, and then in 6 weeks' time, we'll delay his second vaccination until 90 days, 3 months. And what we'll
Okay.
do, instead of him coming along for a second injection in 6 weeks, we'll have another person come along for their first one and take his place there. So what they're trying to do is say that, so in 90 days, okay, you will go back for your second one, but just before you do, already 2 people have been vaccinated, rather than just you.
Just
And you're
one. Yeah,
going
that
for a
makes
second,
sense. That sounds like a plan.
yeah. Or rather than the second person going for their first vaccination on that, on the day 90. You get my point anyway. And they're just trying to massage the figures. They think they're being clever. They're not. And you know what is really sickening is that even in this day of technology, social media, transparency, these buffoons in government still think they can get away with it
I
without,
don't think
they
that,
just blatantly do it.
Martin, you're giving them way too much credit. These people only care about staying in government. They're just they
Right.
just want to stay in government. They just want to stay in government. It's a way to they get paid way too much from taxpayer
Yeah, but
money.
we're
They get way,
stupid enough to
you
allow
know
them
what?
to stay in to
Government
vote them
people
in.
in government should have their was it? They should get their paychecks cut down to bare minimum until this is over.
Well,
Bare minimum, because they do nothing anyway. So
well, apparently so, by looking at the past year at least,
yeah,
you know. And
you have a welfare system
yeah,
in
we do, of
England.
course.
Of
Yeah,
course,
yeah,
every
that's why
country does.
everybody's
Well, they
queuing
should.
up in France to come over
Well,
here.
they
Not
need.
the French, I
What I'm
hasten to add, but
saying
people
is
who have
that the government
travelled all the
officials
way
need to
across
be.
Europe, and they've travelled from all different countries to the French
Yeah, well,
coastline,
you're
and
open
everybody
borders.
wants
That's
to
a good
actually
thing. Great,
end up in
exactly.
England, and that's
Yeah.
why we have a lot of people who are, well, hiding in the trucks, lorries, any
Yep. Yep.
type of
Yep. Yep.
vehicle that they
Yep.
can. And in fact, you know, a few months ago, towards the end of 2020, you had a lot of people who were taking to boats, and they were, you know, that once their boat is across the water from France to England, the English Channel, to give it its correct name, once you are in British waters and no longer in international waters, if you're found in your boat, the British government have to rescue you, and you have to land in England, and
They
you
can
know, and
rescue
go
you, but they shouldn't let you. They should. You know what? That's the problem, is that the laws are so well, not lax, but they're so they're over generous without thinking of the consequences, that they don't understand by being like this that the people in other countries are going to try to actually dare those things,
yeah.
and that's
Well,
really not very good. It's not very good, especially what's happening, like what they did with it in North Africa. It's a horrible thing what's happening. There's like modern day slavery happening in North Africa. They're selling people. I don't know if they're still doing it. I know they were doing it a couple of years during the last, well, more than 4 years ago. So when they destroyed Libya and the
yeah,
great Gaddafi,
yes,
God bless him. And I make that clear. Yeah. So they destroyed this great figure, an African figure that, you know, people were flooding into that area, and they had like modern day slavery, people being sold off because, and with their hopes of trying to get to Europe, which is like this false hope almost,
can
and
you
they're
see,
taking a
we
chance.
don't even learn by our mistakes from the past, even when
They don't.
we in the West have apologized. I think plenty now, but a lot of people are still always, keen for us to continue apologizing for the original
I think that,
slave
what,
trade.
this is
What
the
about
big
modern
no,
slavery? You mentioned it.
it's not that. Look, that's wrong when you say, was it that you're apologizing, continue to apologize the original slavery, because it's not the original slavery. There's been slavery all across the globe for thousands of years in
It
every
continues
part of it,
now.
and it
Listen, you have big
continues now.
brands that are
And
manufacturing all their products in India and the subcontinent and the Far
a
East,
big a big
and
problem is
there are
the
people that continue to
self-correction.
buy these products: sneakers, training shoes.
Yeah. So what you have is, in certain places, like in I don't want to mention, but certain parts of the world are self-correcting, and they apologize. And guess what? The apologies that other people they're taking advantage of. So yeah, there's a lot of horrible things that have happened, but there's also self-correction. In some places, there is less self-correction. I'm not. You can figure out where that is
But
yourself.
how long does it take? I mean, what does it take for a human being to learn and understand when something's right or wrong? We've just been talking about a pandemic. Again, just on that subject, okay, on that point, how long does it take to learn about something?
You
To,
got a
in this
donut,
case,
dude. Did you see that? I'm sorry to distribute, but it was a big
yeah,
award.
yeah, that donut is always watching, but I'll come back to that in just a moment. It's yeah, we have plenty of donuts watching this, but there's one right now.
I've never seen something so big. This is the first time.
Yeah, we have. Oh, that's interesting. Another comment there as well. Okay, goodness me, we're going over all over the place here. But first of all, thank you very much for any awards that you decide to pass our way. Thank you very much indeed. That was again from the Buckeye State there in the USA. Much appreciated. It helps us certainly continue with chats and broadcasts like this going forward, whether it's on this channel or another one that I or Jimmie happen to be on. Because I mention that because there's a handful of projects that we're initiating as I speak, and that will come to light over the coming weeks, sooner rather than later now. We have someone from Facebook suggesting that, did we see that already? Good work, guys. Yes, thank you very much for that indeed. Don't forget, of course, you can head over to Haps. It's the best place if you want to interact and join in. And if anyone wants to join in, just comment and let us know, and we'll gladly have you joining us. Absolutely, for either you to have a chat about something we're actually speaking about. You might want to change the conversation, have a topic of your own that you'd like to discuss, or that you have a view on that you'd like to make known. Jimmie, going back to my point though regarding how long does it take for a human being to actually get it, to learn, understand? There are certain job roles, and ironically I've been in them before. It relates to this live video. I've been behind the scenes working on football matches, making sure that if there's a football match, a major one, everyone knows Manchester United playing, say, Arsenal in London, okay, at some point in the fall, local, August, September time in London, and everyone watches that stuff around the world, but you've got to make sure the signal reaches every point around the planet. And it's people like myself. I used to be in a role like that, and they use fiber links, basically like a private internet, if you like. And we're sitting there watching, waiting for there to be a blip or a problem. And then we have to execute our plan. For example, stereo audio. Most of us know what stereo is all about. Yeah, you have two channels of audio, left and right. So, as an example was given to me once by one of my managers, if you've got the situation where you've got three matches playing, one the vision goes, but you can still hear the match. The second one, just one part of the audio goes. The left channel goes, but you can still hear the right channel, and you can see the video on it. Or there's a third one, a third option, where I don't know, something else happens. But the point is, let's take the two examples I've given you. The one you need to prioritize out of those two would be if the video is a black screen, a blank screen. You've got to bring that back, because at least the other problem and the other match that's being played at the moment, it has one part of the audio on the stereo signal working. So it's not critical that you need to give it your attention immediately. People can get away with still enjoying the match with the video on it, but just say the left channel. And so long as the left channel, I don't mean like one has commentary and one doesn't, for those of you that are watching that are technical. But anyhow, so my point is, again, with the pandemic, we need to prioritize what we're doing with any situation. All right. And it just hasn't happened. We had a complete lockdown, which gave people in charge an opportunity to make a plan. They didn't. Do you know what? We're still waiting for our track, trace, test system, whatever it is, to be fully functional, and an app that we were told by our Prime Minister, while Apple and other companies and Google were working on implementing.
I don't want that.
About 10 months ago, the government here said, we're going to have a world-class one. We've spent billions of dollars.
So you spent the money already.
And then they started again. And I'm telling you now, I honestly, I was saying to someone back when all this was first known about 8-10 months ago, when there was problems, I said to someone, hold on, I've got to check out how much it costs approximately to design an app like Uber, which tracks your car, your taxi cab. It tracks it from where it's leaving to pick you up. Yeah, and you can see how long before it. That's the whole point of Uber, isn't it? If you're sitting in a restaurant and you order a taxi, you can actually, it's basically like a countdown telling you 4 minutes, 3, 2, 1 before it reaches the door. So you don't have to leave the restaurant and be uncomfortable waiting in the street. You can just wait till it's there. And anyway, that app, I think we looked at it, it costs between $75,000 and $100,000 US to initiate an app like Uber, a tracking and tracing facility on it. So why on earth, nearly a year later, the UK government can't deal with this? I have no idea. You should join us. Your perspective is welcome, says Jimmie Heaven. Yes, absolutely. You're talking to some of the people commenting right now, are you? I know, but I'm with my family skiing.
He's in Eastern Europe. He's in Eastern Europe.
Excellent. Well, don't forget to follow us, certainly. And definitely join in when you can and you're not skiing. Again, I tried to put the comment on the screen. I don't know whether I'm being impatient, Jimmie. I'm just watching, but usually the comments should come up on the screen. I think it might be because they're not. I think It might
It's
be
not
that
in
the comment.
Habs. It's not in Habs. You can't. You can't. I tried. I was having the
I was
problem
just
last week.
about. I was just about to say to you, yeah, I think that is the problem. If you're watching on the Haps app, we can make your comments appear on the screen for others to see. So we better just make sure that we know that also our Facebook user out there who's skiing says, "I'll buy some stuff to talk and join you in the nearest future," or I'll. Yeah, or you're right there. You're right. Your comments
Well, the
there.
thing is, I
Absolutely.
know he's.
What's your name,
I
by the
think
way,
he's
user?
in
Do
Europe.
tell us.
Well,
You love talking
I
over me,
think.
don't you, Jimmy?
I think
You
he's
love
was.
talking over me, everyone, but we can all do that.
Well, I'm trying to tell you
They
what
know
his
what it
name
is, what you're
is here.
saying.
I'm trying to tell you what his name
And they
is.
can't understand, even though it's stereo. We should have you on the left and me on the right, and they can split it and work out what's going on. Or they could just listen to two conversations at the same time and get more for their money.
I'm answering you.
I think you're right there,
I'm trying to help
Jimmy.
you
I
out.
know you are.
Yeah.
But
So he's hidden.
it's good that you've got that glass there, isn't it?
He's in hiding. He doesn't want people to know his name.
Or her name.
Oh,
I
that's
mean, if
true.
you were James Bond, would you say that you're a man, or would you pretend to be a woman online? Let's not go into those conversations right now. Too much of that does go on online. It's yes, you never know. It could even be an alien, for that matter. It could be this might be their first time trying to make contact with planet Earth, and they decided to join the ShineCast
Oh,
broadcast.
I'm an alien. I'm an alien.
Jimmy,
I'm a
can you just
legal
share with us
alien.
what's going on there, please? You are, yeah. What's going on there? What are you doing? Come on, I
It's empty. It's empty. It's empty. It's time for another
yes.
bottle.
Well, on this broadcast.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Now this one
Right.
was like this one was close to empty anyway. So what are we gonna do here? Okay, the label's coming off. I can't read it. Chateau Puy de Guérande. I have a hard time with French. It's Bordeaux, 2018. Can anybody read that? Somebody read that for me. Martin, read it for me.
It says a hide Grande. Or her hide Pude Grande.
Come on, dude. The country's a little bit closer to you, and I expect you to know how they speak.
Grand.
Yeah.
Is that better for you?
Yes, Chris Bryant. How you doing? How you doing?
Jimmie, silence. I just had to enjoy that for a moment. It was silence there.
This takes a lot of
shocking,
concentration. I'm using dangerous tools here.
Sure. Oh, right. Yeah, sure. Yes, absolutely. Well, you're Superman, apparently, on this occasion, so you shouldn't have a problem. Right?
No, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it the good old-fashioned human way.
Yeah, not often you'll see Jimmie there having a good old screw there on the Haps app. But anyway, let's see what's going on a little further there, shall we? Interesting
It's a fruity body.
Jimmie?
Fruity body.
Uh-huh. Right.
I think it's got fruity body. It's
Okay.
not. Oh my lord! Don't blaspheme. But come on, the cork. I
think that was pretty acceptable what you said there. I wouldn't suggest blaspheming after some of the stuff I hear on here, that's for sure. Great label. Is it dry, Jimmie? Yeah, he's just explained the question there was, is it a dry red from Brenda?
Full body.
Chris is apparently okay. I do hope, Chris, that you only have just something else that isn't COVID-19. You're suffering at the moment. I wish you well, though. I hope it doesn't sort of spread through the house. You know what I mean? Because we do wish your wife Heather, as we do everyone else, well at this crazy time. How is she doing at the moment? I hope she's good. Yeah, Chris and Heather, they've been following for a while on and off on my various channels across social media, and now. He's here. Don't forget to certainly follow here on ShineCast as well. I was looking earlier on, by the way, Jimmie. I don't know if you checked out your channel on Haps, but I don't see this broadcast, even though you're in it. You know, sometimes we see broadcasts. So, for example, if one person's broadcasting and they have you as a guest, then once you accept as a guest and join, it should be. Yeah, but I know what it should be. But hey, you know, again, it's all. Are
you sure? Are you sure it's not there because last time I put you as director, and that could be it?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, possibly you could be right there. You could be right. So on this occasion, what I'm going to do is press the magic button there, press the magic button there. The thing is, again, because of all the glitches, I've now changed your status and well, the guest's status on here. But I wonder if you sort of need to refresh everything for that to take effect. Do you know what I mean? So who knows? I
Okay.
could double, treble check here. Let's have a quick
Yeah,
update on my page.
check my profile.
Oh, I shall. But I was checking other stuff as well. But again, even well, funny enough, one of our guests here today was saying that even when they try and load the app, sometimes you just get a blank screen. You know, it just comes up, but where there should be pictures and icons, it's just blank, and it's ridiculous. And it's not that person's internet connection, because I've had the same problem. It does need a very strong internet connection. It needs, you know, a lot of CPU power, chip power when you're trying to load the page. Certainly when you're broadcasting, it's ridiculous how much CPU that is used. But there you go. A lot of people have been reporting that, as I've found out the more that I've been interacting with the community here on haps.tv. Heather is still working in the care home. Yes, well, she's got to be careful there, hasn't she, Chris? Quite clearly. So, but she's doing a marvelous job. Splendid. Well, it's an invaluable job at the moment, and hopefully she's having her vaccination sorted out speedier than the average person. This is another thing as well. Just going back to what we were talking about earlier on about the the vaccine and how long people have got to wait for it. The other day they started a conversation about should we, the media were like, should we have vaccinations 24 hours a day? Should the centres be open so that if somebody really is intent on having their vaccine now on these centres where it was almost a first come first serve situation, they'd be able to facilitate that. And people are debating. I don't think there should be a debate. I mentioned this to you, Jimmie, before we went live. As far as I'm concerned, leave the facilities open 24 hours a day.
Isn't there a way just to register online to say I'm going to be there at a certain time?
Don't know, don't care. My point wasn't that. My point was that the public will speak, they will vote with their feet. And the fact is that if the centre's open 24 hours a day, but then no one is attending between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., or only 2 people attend between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. over the week, and there's a correlation there, and you can say, well, actually, people clearly don't want to attend at this time of night, then they can start thinking about, well, we'll close them because we're wasting the electricity and we're paying the staff for those 2 hours. But that just isn't going to happen. There's enough people in the world for there to initially certainly be an influx at 5, 6 in the morning. Someone will say to themselves, hey, before I go to the office this morning, because I have to go to the office to work, even though there's a lockdown, I will stop by the vaccination centre and have my first injection. Yeah, stop putting up these walls, stonewalling things. I've been using that expression quite a bit recently, strangely, for various reasons. But that's the point, all right? Don't make excuses. Don't give reasons why things can't be done. I'm sick and tired of it now. I've seen and heard too much of it in my life and recently, and it's so blatantly obvious. We remember the glass can be seen to always be half full. It doesn't have to just be seen half empty. Although in your case, Jimmie, we're talking about the bottle. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, the bottle is.
Let's work and focus that way. How we can do things, how we can achieve things, and if we only have $1 in our pocket and we need lunch, well, how can we achieve having a decent lunch with that $1? Rather than saying, well, we actually need another 4 to make up the full amount that I need to pay for what I actually need and want to eat. So how do we do that? Well, you could put that dollar into a one-armed bandit and all your eggs in one basket. That's one way of seeing if you can change the situation from having $1 to having 5 or more.
What is $1 in your currency?
About 125 pence, £1.25, £1.30, something like that at the moment. I think about 1.30, let's say.
£1.30.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
One meal. Yeah, I think I can squeeze. I can find a way to do one meal.
Right.
No, maybe not. That's a tough call. That's a tough one. I'm trying to think about like, because I do a lot of
Depends
shopping.
what meal. If it's breakfast, you generally don't have a problem. Breakfast is, I would suggest, one of the cheapest, if not the cheapest, um,
A buck, you
meals
can
of the
get it for
day.
a dollar.
Meals of the
Like
week.
now,
Yeah.
if it was this kind of dollar, I would understand.
Well, maybe have a banana or other type of fruit. Yeah, a yogurt,
A
and
yogurt.
a
Is
cup
that what
of
you call it? A
coffee
yogurt.
or tea. We call it yogurt, but of course in the USA it's yogurt, something,
Yogurt.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. What did you do
How
with
do
the
you say
R?
it?
What did you do with the R?
What do you do with the H? H. You can spell it, I think, a couple of ways. The word yogurt, can't you? How do you, what do we do with the R?
Yeah.
Yogurt.
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 We'll start. We'll start crossing our
Gehurt.
legs and sit on the floor a minute doing some yoga.
Yogurt. Yogurt. Yogurt.
Right.
Yogurt.
Yeah. Gone off milk, sour cream. That's better. Yeah, absolutely. Chris is
Yeah.
just updating us more about his wife there, saying that she is tested 3 times a week and she should be vaccinated soon. So she has 3 COVID tests each week to confirm that she's negative. She has to have
nurse.
more
She's a
than one.
nurse. Is she a nurse?
She's a carer in a home for elderly people.
Oh, okay.
But she's definitely on the front line. She's a
wow, that's
just a key
somebody I
worker.
would love to have on to talk.
She's an invaluable worker. Yeah. Hello, Joe. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us. Indeed.
Hello, Joe.
Joe at the moment is on YouTube. Thank you for joining. Share, like, and follow. Yeah, you should definitely, if you can, get over to haps.tv, Joe, because it's happening there. That's for sure. It's definitely somewhere you want to get involved with if you like this sort of chat. Yeah, it's the next big thing to Periscope, apparently. Well, Periscope won't be here anymore after the 31st of March 2021. It's its final day live, so people are finding a new home before they are orphaned. I was pleasantly surprised how reasonable food was priced wise in the UK when I was there. Yeah, do you know what? For years, everyone in the UK was told, certainly in the the mid 70s, 80s, early 90s, the USA was the place to go when it comes to apparel, clothes. Yeah, much more affordable in the USA compared to the UK. However, I noticed when I was in the USA 2 years ago for quite a few weeks that the food seemed to be definitely more expensive than it is here in the UK in the general grocery stores, supermarkets.
Okay, wait a second. America has a big. You have a big. There's a lot of competition, so you can find very expensive food. You can find very cheap food. It's got a wide variety. It's probably the best place to as far as like living with as little money as possible if you know how to you stretch it. And Japan is like that too. So, but not as much as the United States. The United States is a amazing place for that, and still is.
God bless America. I think you meant to say there as well, didn't you? Or maybe not.
No. It's just it's such a large country. It's got a lot of competition. Unless it doesn't have controlled competition. I know that a lot of things they're trying to make it like some kind of we got a fringe that's trying to make it into a social nightmare, but it has such a good free market competition drives prices down and certain things. Sure, there's a lot of expensive stuff that is unattainable, but there's so much that is dirt cheap. It's amazing.
Yeah, dirt being the word. Is
much.
I really didn't find. I found if I went to one outlet store.
Yeah, Norway is ridiculous. Norway's ridiculous. Yeah.
Expensive. I'm fine. Well, what's up? Said Joe. We got that one. What else? Food in the UK is cheap as chips. Yeah, how cheap are chips at the moment? Now,
well, you know what?
When we're talking about chips, when we're talking about chips that you have with your dinner, I'm not talking about potato chips or better known in the UK as crisps, but chips. While on that subject, they used to be like just one single coin. Well, they're cheaper than that at one point, but £1. Yeah. Okay, but now they're pretty much double in most places in London. £2 for a portion of fries, chips. Yeah, to go with your fish or something else. Yeah, no, I understand, but
Norway's Scandinavia is ridiculously expensive, ridiculously expensive. So I lived in
mhm.
Denmark. So Denmark, of course, their pay rate is a lot high, but it's still everything is just ridiculously expensive.
Mm.
It's affordable for them, but as far as tourism, if you go as a tourist to a Scandinavian country, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You can't eat it. You have to. It's in Japan. You can eat with a little bit of money. You can eat a lot of great food. In America, the same thing. Little bit of money, you can eat some great food. I don't know how it is in England. I guess maybe England it is similar to that.
I think we are very lucky when it comes to food in the UK. The variety from around the world, and the quality, and the pricing isn't bad at all. When you consider everything, I think you're right though. But Scandinavia, I'm pretty aware. When I was in Denmark, I remember the prices were pretty high. Um,
He's saying Sweden. God, Sweden is expensive. So I was living in
yes,
Denmark.
Sweden was
I thought
expensive.
Sweden was
Yeah.
more expensive than Denmark, and so he's talking
The
Norway is
unhealthy
more
food is
expensive.
cheap. The healthy food can be more expensive. I find UK, says Chris. People
No,
here in Norway
unhealthy
go to
food is cheap.
Sweden
Yeah,
for cheap stuff. Do they really? That's interesting.
that's true. That's true.
They actually cross the border there. They do that in Spain. There's a lot of British people, English people in the south of Spain, expats, and even those that are just holidaying there, having a vacation there. They cross from Spain to the border into Gibraltar. Okay, often because they want. Well, for a start, they want something. Ironically, if they're in Spain, but they want something British. But also, yeah, the variety of food. They have over there one supermarket in Gibraltar called Morrison's. Chris, don't know if you know that. Chris works for them down in the southwest of England. But yeah, it was very popular. And these days, I think that, well, they even have the German. The Germans are in there now with Lidl or Lidl, depending on how you want to pronounce that, correctly or incorrectly, and Aldi as well, of course. I didn't realise that Aldi is so prevalent in the USA. There's certainly plenty of those two stores over here in the UK these days. Variety in the UK is always better than here, says Joe. Denmark is cheaper than here.
Denmark is
Here,
cheaper than Norway. Yeah, that's crazy.
here meaning Norway.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. Was it I just remember, like, if you're living in those countries, there's a certain amount of, was it because of what your pay is, was it comparable to the living standards? I know that people have moved from from one country to another, from Denmark to Sweden, just because they wanted to own like an American supercar or American muscle car, and the taxes for the car is going to be better or lower in Sweden. So that's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's way too expensive.
I'm just reading the comment from our Facebook user who's a little incognito at the moment. Again, could you just clarify your name with us, please, Facebook user?
Oh,
As
no,
I
this is a different user. This is
remind,
a different user. Different user. Different user. Okay, the comment about health food is not quite true about American food. The comment about health food, yeah,
as I
health
was
food is.
saying, we've got our as I was saying, our Facebook user. Oh dear, the Facebook user, as Jimmy said, didn't matter whether they were a different user or not. The fact is that you are
No,
incognito, so they are a different user. So even more of a reason, please tell us your name. Thank you.
it's up to him. Yeah, yeah, that's up to him.
I didn't say it wasn't.
I can see it on Facebook, but you can't see it on Haps.
Right.
Yeah, and the thing
So
is,
it's just easier.
the other person, the first person, he didn't even have his name up there. It's not his real name. So this person, it's his real name. That's up to him if he wanted to. Was it give out his name? That's his choice.
Well, I'm glad you clarified that, Jimmy, because otherwise they would have thought that
Yes,
when I was
you.
asking,
Yes,
when I
you.
was,
Because you're watching on Facebook, but we're
yes,
broadcasting on another. Was it? We're broadcasting on
I'm going to
something
have to
else.
press this
Yeah.
button.
I'm trying to help him understand here. So yeah. So yes, you. So we can't see your name because it says Facebook user unless you sign up for Haps, which is a great broadcasting service, which maybe you should sign up for so you can talk about the things that you want to do. You know. Say my name. You want me to say? Okay, his name is David Billups. Right now, he's Dave Billups on Facebook. I've known him since I was I must have. Was it fifth grade? Is it fifth grade? Fourth grade? Fifth grade? I think you moved to New Jersey in fifth grade. I think that's what it is. So yeah. Oh, what, Martin? You're gone now? Cause yeah. So anyway, David Billups. Yeah. So 10. You were 10. I thought you were a little bit older than. Okay, 10. So that's still fifth grade. I'm thinking, or is it the end of fourth grade or fifth grade? Yeah. So yeah, David. I've known him. Well, I mean, I haven't seen him in 30 or 40 years, but I've known him since we were 10 or 11. So that's pretty incredible, huh? I actually remember when David bought the first issue of the Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay, that's just a memory that just popped up in my head. Okay, Martin, was you going to leave me hanging here? You're just taking a sip. You're drinking my wine there. I'm drinking Bordeaux. Here, is this flip that I can't hold it right? Gold medal award.
It's
Oh,
looking good.
you know it. You know this wine.
I do now.
Yeah.
In fact, we're being introduced to plenty of bottles of wine every week now.
Every week, it's a bottle of wine or it's a bottle of whiskey. So yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's more than one bottle often, which is
Oh my God.
you say intriguing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, Danny. Daniel, how you doing? Is another user here signed in? Yeah. But all right. So my friend Daniel, also from New Jersey, uh, he is in Southern California, and he has started a winery. So yeah, Barrel Riot. So if you're ever in, I don't know, I guess they can just look it up online and find Barrel Riot online. Yeah. So I think he sends it out. So yeah, I would love to. I would love to try some Barrel Riot. For now, I mean, yeah, I'm not the biggest California wine fan. But yeah, I can drink it. So, I mean, I'll drink anything actually. What am I talking about? Martin, I hate how you go silent. You can throw in some comments interrupting me too. You know that, right?
There's no room, Jimmy. There's no room, my friend.
I'm trying to get.
Goodness me.
I'm trying to get the comments. I'm trying to get the comments. What does it say? Spirit barrel aged wines, bourbon barrel
Like
aged.
I said, there's no room.
Yeah.
I'm doing some technical stuff while you're
Okay, we gotta
interacting
talk
with
to
the
the Haps
viewers.
people. That I don't like how you cannot put these comments up in Haps here.
I think it's an error. It's a glitch. I don't think
It is
it's
a glitch.
intended.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to Haps about that.
Hmm.
Oh, here goes. Yeah, David again. Annoying.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah.
Glitches.
Yeah. So anyway, that's great that we have a few people joining us. We should actually, we should try to, have some of these people join us. It's the reading people's comments and actually having them come in and talk is so much better. Then with three of us can battle out verbally, and then nobody can hear anything, right? Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Are you putting me on again? Okay, so my friend David, he posted something, but he's trying. Oh, I would love to. Oh, yeah. Oh, Daniel would love to do that. You can do that right now. I guess they have to sign up for Haps. Is that right, Martin, Mr. Shine, to join us here? We're on Haps. I think it's at the top of the video. Yeah. I guess this is the alternative to Periscope, right, Martin? That's going out.
I'm not even going to compare them. We can't compare them because Haps.tv.
But you're saying people migrating. I'm sorry. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to shut up. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Martin. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's not about apologizing. It's just that we both can't talk at once. Well, I mean, we
Okay.
can, but it then is the definition of, I think, chaos. Anyhow, so you asked the question as well. That was, I thought you wanted the answer.
Go ahead.
But thank you. We can't really compare the two platforms because, for a start, Periscope is a separate product to Twitter. Twitter bought Periscope originally because they needed their hands on a live video functionality, and that's what they did, rather than because they wanted it immediately, to contend with Facebook Live, which was around at a very similar time. So Twitter said, okay, we'll buy an existing platform that's working. And once they bought that, they then started to integrate live video more and better into Twitter itself. And that's one of the reasons, well, the main reason, they wouldn't be getting rid of and sunsetting Periscope now if they didn't already have a similar or identical product in their native platform, Twitter. So the thing is, though, as a standalone product, all Periscope is a timeline of live videos that someone might produce. Okay, the content of live videos, and that's all it is. But Twitter, of course, is a bit different because it's more of a timeline blog where you can post text messages or embed a video, say from YouTube, or upload a still image or a video. Okay, but Haps does all that, and that's why Haps is so much better, I think, as a single product. And the one thing it does as well is that when you're broadcasting on haps.tv, you have the option to simultaneously broadcast to other live video platforms, as we're doing now: YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, and did we say YouTube? Yes, we did. For now, that's enough. And of course, Haps TV is where it's happening. Yeah, the main broadcast is right now. I'm still trying to figure out what this is about. Yeah, what you mean, live, Joe? Yeah, I think we're all doing that at the moment. There was no specific structure to this particular broadcast. It was just me having a chat from England to our friend in Japan, Jimmie Heaven, and I had a couple of points here as well, which we were discussing. There was no particular topic, which is why you can talk about what you like. What would you like to talk about, Joe? Do you have anything specific on your mind right now that you'd like to comment on?
He says, "Are you selling something?" We aren't selling something, but I'm gonna
Depends
put
what you want to buy.
Let's can you was it show
Yes,
this
it
barrel
depends,
riot?
Joe. It absolutely depends. How can you do that, Jimmie?
I don't.
It absolutely depends.
It's not letting me do that. It's not letting me share. I'm just trying to say. I posted the barrel riot. Was it my friends? Was it a thing? But it's not showing up. You can't share it for some reason. Okay, Joe, come on. What do you want to say? Join. Why doesn't Joe join us? On the was it YouTube link? Is there no link to how to join Haps? There is. Okay, so Joe, you just have to if you can steer the conversation the way you want. We'd love to hear about Norway. So why don't you if you sign up to Haps, you can join us too.
So Jimmie, you just babbled a load there in a big paragraph. Could you explain? Is there no? And then you kind of didn't finish this. Is there no link in YouTube for what exactly?
Well, Joe is watching. Joe is watching for you from YouTube. So if he goes to the description, there's a Haps link where you could go in, and maybe you have to sign up. I'm not sure because I'm signed up already. And if you sign up, then we can invite you. That's the whole deal. Let us know.
And I think you would have to sign up. Think about it.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Did you have to sign up to use Haps?
Obviously.
Oh, well, there you are then. So it's obvious that Joe's going to have to sign up. If you want to join in the broadcast right now, because of the way we're broadcasting, you have to see. That was the advantage of the other platform. We don't need to mention it, but when we were broadcasting prior to this particular content today, you didn't have to sign up as a user, you see. So there you are, Jimmie. That's another reason for weighing it all up
Yeah.
when we were so eager to get onto HAPS, but what's the advantage? Nothing in this world is 100% perfect. Includes me.
Okay, here, Facebook here. I posted it on FB link. That's David. For the wine, yes, I know. And I see, usually if it's a HAPS user, we can share the comments onto the screen. But I can't do it because you're making the comment from Facebook. So David, you should try joining up for HAPS too. You can start your own broadcast. David has a lot to say. He could post his own broadcast too. Would be great. I'd be willing to join that broadcast. Be attacked from here to eternity, but yeah, I'll do it. Yes, silence.
I was now on this occasion. I was just taking the opportunity, Jimmie, to just try a few technical things here. Let's put it like that, and just to play around and see what's going on when it comes to us broadcasting on various platforms, specifically. But
Yeah,
you were doing well without me.
good. No, go ahead. Yeah, you should tell everybody about that. How did it? How HAPS works. How HAPS works. It's very interesting.
We won't
Don't-
do that on this broadcast. I tell you, no. That would be a very short broadcast at the moment compared to how apps doesn't work. Oh dear, you really give me the lines, don't you, Jimmie? In terms of feeding me with the responses there. No. At the moment, I don't know why you would suddenly change this into a tutorial on how to live broadcast.
That's
on
because we
HAPS or any other
got a few people that it might benefit. And why not? And if they join HAPS, they would join us, which is great, I think.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not just about thinking.
Instead of us just reading off their comments, the Facebook comments. What
People
is
like that as
ShineCast?
well.
Come on, what is ShineCast? That's your turn.
Are you talking to me?
Your shirt.
What are you talking to your guest?
And sell them the shirt. Where can we get the ShineCast shirt?
Oh, well, nowhere at the moment. It's an exclusive.
Well, tell them what a ShineCast is.
It's a unique pullover sweater jumper, this one. What ShineCast? Well, ShineCast, as it evolves, is going to be a few, chats like this every day, every week, every month, eventually. But we're starting somewhere, and regularly I speak with Jimmie. He's in Japan. I'm in England, as you may know already. Those of you that have just come across this broadcast, that's for you, that info. And my broadcasts are solely for you, says the Facebook user that is not known to those watching the chat on HAPS.
David Phillips.
But anyhow,
yeah.
Right. So why it says what I'm confused about? It's obviously a bug, because why is it Joe is watching on YouTube? And we can see Joe's name here everywhere, whether it's on YouTube chat directly or whether it's on HAPS.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so it's obviously it's a bug. So when you were screaming earlier on about this is a second user, not the first user, that sort of thing, I'm having to get my head around asking myself the question, what's going on here? And I'm realizing now that there is clearly a problem. So that's it. Unless whoever the person is that's commenting on Facebook isn't logged into their Facebook account, which I don't think is true. It's all a little confusing for us as well. But yeah, so to carry on and just ultimately answer your question about what is ShineCast, it's about the people that we speak with here. Yeah, whether they are trying to promote themselves because they have a certain skill set, maybe they're a singer, or indeed they're an artist, a musical artist, or even an artist that sticks stuff onto canvas using brushes, pen drawings, painting, whether you create jewellery, anything. If you're into cookery and you've got a story to tell, well, over the weeks and months, we'll be featuring various people on ShineCast. Absolutely. I hope that answers your question a little bit there, Joe.
Yeah, good. Joe, join Shine.
And it's a good introduction as well for those people who are like, oh, I know I should be creating live content and video online, to ensure that I have a a little bubble of my own and community of my own that I build, so that I can start showing people what it is indeed. Because you were asking earlier on, are we selling anything? Right now, no. And if we do start selling anything, it will be what other people that we're speaking with want to, well, allow you to buy.
I'm sorry, I'm going to
Purchase
interrupt you. I'm going to
and
interrupt you.
own.
I am not selling anything, but I am accepting donations.
There you go. We had one earlier on. Thank you very much. And yeah, all donations. If you're on HAPS, awards are given via the HAPS app to broadcasters on HAPS, and we very much appreciate those always. Yeah, absolutely. Facebook might depend on privacy settings or not logged in. Thank you, Chris, for that. Yeah, and you know what? Chris has a very good point. Yes,
Brenda's Facebook
yes,
shows
absolutely.
up. Brenda's Facebook shows up. So if Brenda if she's commenting from Facebook, you can actually see the comment.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think I can see her name as well. So
Yeah, exactly.
as Chris was mentioning, it might be privacy settings, which is why again I didn't hesitate the way I was putting it, Jimmie. Rather than worrying myself with something, as I said to you earlier on, it's about prioritizing. And right now our priority is number one, making sure this doesn't technically fall over. Yeah. And number two, obviously making sure the content is on track in as much as whatever our chat's about, but also monitoring the comments. And it really doesn't matter where a comment's coming from, because if someone tells us that the sky is blue, it doesn't really matter that we mention their name correctly. Certainly won't want to mention it incorrectly, but whether we just mention them as a comment is just coming from someone asking or commenting that the sky is blue. So long as they get that reaction, they know who they are. They know that they asked the question and it wasn't somebody else that we're responding to. So there you go. Just saying. How do you get these people? Which people?
Who
I'll
are
tell you
these
something.
people?
Sometimes I don't get Jimmie. Sometimes I just don't get Jimmie. Oh my goodness! But most of the time I do. Hence,
Who are these people he's talking about? Who are these people?
Well, there you are, Jimmie. How do you get? I think he's asking of. I think what he's asking about is how do you procure your community? Well, that is where all this wonderful work comes in that we do. Yeah, our tenacity and our passion for continuing to put it out there. I mean, this is like a fishing net compared to a fishing line. I could just have a telephone number, a specific one, and someone gives it to me and says, I want to talk specifically about this, or have this discussion specifically, and we can just talk to one person on a phone number, just like a fishing line, connecting with the one fish that you want or need. Yeah, but if we put the net out there and cast it out there as we're doing, then those that are interested, as you are, I'm very appreciative of this, Joe, and our friend who was in Cognito on Facebook, although not actually on the Facebook platform. I think it was David. Is that right, Jimmie?
Yeah, David. Yeah.
Yeah, but David's incognito as we look at him officially on the HAPS app. So you've obviously been interested enough to join us. And again, I hasten to add, if you're not interested in specifically what I'm talking about right now, and you want to discuss another topic, or indeed you want to correct me in any way, or Jimmie, just comment, please do. And you can. If you're on HAPS, you can join in the broadcast. All you got to do is let us know. That's the one thing. We have to, as I say, invite you into the broadcast on HAPS and know what your HAPS details are. But we'll do that. Jimmie, you okay there?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You look a little shorter than when we started the broadcast.
You can steer the conversation any which way.
It's funny because that often happens. As the broadcast goes on, Jimmie seems to sink somewhat. And before you know it,
I'm trying to let you have your stage time here. It's your show.
Time, right. Yeah. Look, and I haven't even been drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
During this
my thing is we're welcoming people to steer us any which way, except I really don't want to get political. That's the only one I don't want to get to.
Joe, I think you did something really good, actually. I think it really is something that could benefit you, Joe. So do continue to follow us on any platforms that you find us on right now, as you have done on YouTube. I would suggest heading over to Facebook and connecting with the ShineCast page and Twitter, but also on HAPS if you get the opportunity to do so. Sign up, because there's some great stuff happening on there. And trust me, it's far better than just passively watching traditional television or listening to traditional radio. Am I okay here, Jimmie? I feel very relaxed now. I don't even need the alcohol.
Well, this is my time that I get to drink. I work like long hours, and I have to speak. I'm
Mm.
speaking to students all day, so basically, I can't be
Yeah.
drinking.
Well,
So
I
yeah,
guess
so Friday night
you
with you
take
is
it
the
easy on
time I
that.
drink.
Yeah, I know, but you work on Saturdays, and if you want to be speaking to your students tomorrow, although of course where you are right now,
You're
it's
right.
already Saturday because it's on midnight. You want to be talking to them in the morning, not slurring. Correct?
Eight
Just
hours. Eight
saying.
hours from now, I'm working again. I
Are you
don't
gonna?
use
Lucky you
Twitter
haven't got a
look
vehicle
at
to
this guy,
drive.
Joe. I don't use Twitter or FB. You're my hero. That's for sure.
I
YouTube's going
really,
down.
I really suggest that you head over to haps.tv, sign up there, Joe. It'll take you not long at all, and then you can join in. Otherwise, just follow on Facebook. Oh, let me. There we are. Rise to the occasion once again. There we are. I feel much better sitting like this. I don't know if everyone's heard this chair that I've been on today. It's been so squeaky. And I don't know why I didn't mention that earlier when it really was even more squeaky, but it's just
How
very
how does
annoying.
how does this guy stay, Joe? How do you stay off of Twitter and Facebook? I mean, it is. I mean,
I can.
It is quite addictive. I know you
Jimmy,
do. I know you. I know you
I,
do.
I, I can stay away from my mobile, cell phone, all my devices. If I had to stay away from all my devices, I do need to sort of be near them in terms of, because I still have some important emails coming. But when it comes to socializing and just all that, that stuff that people send you, they text you a silly picture or something, and the whole world has seen it like 3 years ago, and suddenly, for some reason, your friend only received it 36 months later now, and then they forward it on to you. And then the worst thing is that you're one of those that already saw it like 5 years ago when it first came out. But anyhow, all that stuff, don't need it. Social media is a good way. I don't even need it personally. I actually prefer the telephone, and it's so free. It's so easy now to have free calls to people around the
Sure,
world.
sure,
With
sure.
we have
It's not
WhatsApp, we have
telephone. It's not
Facebook
really telephone
Messenger,
anymore. Yeah,
and calls. Well,
Skype.
whatever.
We
The
use
point
Skype.
is, you can, even if you don't want to speak in real time, I keep forgetting this, but you don't have to call someone. You can send them that voice message and they can respond. Then that becomes like talking on two-way radios. They respond when they can. So if they're sleeping, you send them a text message, or send them a voice message so they can respond to it when they wake up. But you can do all that. And there are so many apps now, including apps, but that's for live video, of course, as we were saying, really, in the main. But now when it comes to communication, FaceTime, WhatsApp, WeChat, Facebook Messenger, Yahoo, I think, still have a messenger system in some ways, but I would never trust it because of their
Hotmail. Remember
security.
Hotmail? Remember Hotmail? Hotmail was
Well,
good.
MSN Messenger, yeah,
And
absolutely.
there was video chat and hot. I was using that. It's so funny that was it 10, 15 years ago. I was using it, and at the time nobody wanted to use it. I say, hey, let's vid chat, let's video chat. At that
Well, the
time
first,
already, I remember people were so
when
reluctant to
I
do it, and I still don't understand. I still don't
well,
understand.
yeah, when I had my first webcam, I had a little software on there where you could literally the size of the average postage stamp, record a video that size on the screen. All right, and I would record a message, maybe a minute or two long, and then I would upload that video online. YouTube wasn't around initially, so I had to put it on the server that I had, and then I'd give them a link to that video so they could watch it. Which is effectively like now when you send someone a video message on Skype. I don't mean having a live call on Skype, but you can actually obviously send a video file, like we can again on iMessage if you're on Apple devices, or if you are
I
on
am
any
sorry I
device,
missed your
including
voice
Android
call. I'm sorry I missed your
and
voice call
WhatsApp.
today. AOL Messenger.
Mm.
Was it
You
Jimmie and
do
I are
need to
definitely on?
remind people that are watching you what you're responding to. So, for example, if someone says, "What color is your T-shirt?" or and what is there, you can't just say, "Oh, it's blue." You have to say on here, "Oh, the color." I'm being asked the color of my T-shirt, and it is blue. Why? Because some people are listening to this and they're not looking at the screen. They don't need to. This type of
Okay, got it, got
broadcast,
it, got it,
depending
got
on
it, got
who's
it.
featuring, it's more like talk radio in the background, and it's
Hey,
kind of really comforting as well to a lot of people once they discover it and start listening to it.
Okay, David says I
AOL
called him.
Messenger, goodness me, Chris. Yeah, no, absolutely. Chris has mentioned something really important. I mean, what's really sad these days? A lot of stores, shops, what they did on their signage, all right, or even on their vehicles, people say something like they've got a website, for example, like MikeThePlumber.com, and his email address is MikeThePlumber@hotmail.com, or as Chris was just saying, the AOL brand. The worst thing is when you say to someone, this is my business and it's mybusiness.com, this is the website on your business card, and then if you want to email us, just email it to the used pots and pans store at AOL.com. What does it do? Well, first of all, it shows how out of touch you are. You haven't moved with the times. And if you are using AOL now as your email provider, goodness me, how much better you could be doing for various ways. It's so easy to set up an email that is more memorable, more professional looking. Okay. Why keep an email address now, which as soon as you see it, yeah, as I said, if it was Martin Shine at AOL.com and I'm a business, straight away you're giving 50% of the people, or you're giving one person 50% of their thought processes. Is this legitimate? Is it not? And they've got to make that decision before they go any further. Is it just someone trying to rob me of my money, and they're not really a professional photographer or video professional, for example, or not? So they have to stop them
Communicate. So
going.
you communicate. You can communicate. That's the thing is, spreading communication. Video chat is a great way to do this too. Let me see this here. Facebook user David, I don't
My
like
point,
it
Jimmie.
because I feel
As
like
I
I
was
have
saying,
to be
the
get
fact
prepared.
is that rather than someone having an AOL account, it's so easy now to have an email that's associated with your business. So you can have that email address, which is office@professionalphotographer.com, not professional photographer in England at AOL.com. Just saying. Sorry, Jimmie.
Any of those can be faked. You can make a fake account. You can do so many things. Now let me answer this question here. It's
There
not
are
no not.
ways to check
Hold
all
on,
that
let me
simply,
let,
Jimmie.
let me respond
But
something here.
the fact that you demonstrate to people, you blatantly shove in their face an email address that is AOL, Hotmail, Yahoo. It's just a no-no in business. It's just, you just don't do
Here.
it. It's the difference.
Well, it's the
I'm
same
listening.
as a phone number. What are you talking about? It's the same as a phone number. So what are you
Oh yeah.
talking about?
Well, I'll
What
tell you
I'm
now you
saying,
mention that. I tell you now you mention that. Again, a lot of people are reassured when they see a landline number. Now, hear me out. In the UK, all mobile phone numbers in the UK, they are configured in a different way to all landlines. All mobile numbers, cell phone numbers in the
yeah,
UK
sure,
start.
and you can keep and you can why he keep cutting you off, Jim? Yes, exactly. I was trying to respond to this, David. Let me just say something. It's something to do with what you're saying, okay, Martin. M- David says, I don't like it because I feel like I have to get prepared and look presentable for a video conversation. And that's not true. You look fine, David. Now, the thing is, people aren't getting used to it, and they should. Okay, they should. Like, okay, especially, let me make an example. This COVID situation. Um, I think that they should. I mean, of course, the youth for their children, they should be able to use a video. Was it a app with this communication for learning? If that's what they need to do, but like old people that are in old people's home, that they can communicate with their family. A lot of because of the COVID, people are being shut off because of it, which is horrible. So you just have to get used to it. Look at me. I'm just. I made no preparation. You get used to it. It's nothing. It's like nothing. So it's not a big deal. You can use it. And this should be, was it extended? If you think about the way things now, this COVID thing, there's a lot of positive things. It's a horrible thing that we're going through, but the COVID thing, there's some positive things that have been pushed forward that in the future uh, is great. And I would say that like this video communication, let's say for instance, I'm all over the place. Doctor consultations, lawyer consultations, all this can be done on video. You don't have to go there. You can do it on video. For especially, I'm elderly. My thing is, I think of the elderly. We should take care of them, but they can benefit from them. This technology is they can have video chat and get a consultation from their doctor, and maybe the medicine can just be delivered to them if it is something that is just a repeat instead of them having to get out of the house and go to the doctor. So I know that you're not an invalid, David, but yeah, you look fine. You can do the video chat. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And now you can even add like little things to you. You can add wings and halos and sunglasses with all that. Yeah, what was it? What was that? What was it? Snap camera, the one I don't like or haven't used. I haven't learned how to
The one you
use.
don't like, Jimmy?
Yeah,
Snap camera.
go for it. You can show it. I know you've been waiting all night for it. You took a snap. You took a snap picture of me, like was it messing around with that snap camera? I couldn't figure out how to use it. Go for it. You can show it.
Right.
You can show it.
I want to just remind you that it's more basic than what you were saying about you just got to forget about it and do it to your friend there on Facebook when he says that he needs to be prepared. I mean, I'm not prepared. Trust me, I'm not too proud of this facial stuff right now. But or for that matter, my hair, on top of my head. But you know what? I just said to myself, it's locked down. It's a bit like when you see all these millionaire directors in Hollywood, giving a brief on a film they're working on at the moment on a chat show. They'll often come on the show with their jeans, their blue jeans, and they'll have all their stubble and everything. And it's not because they're being lazy. They are just working solidly from the small hours of the morning till very late at night, often past midnight, so still again to the small hours of the next morning, and it's not, again, prioritizing things. They don't need to look their best. They're not trying to impress, and they don't need to try and impress anyone because they've kind of made it already. Okay, but more to the point, this is the point, right? So many people who own shops, stores on the main street, high street, anywhere in the world, they own a store. They'll quite happily go and open that up at 9:30 in the morning until late at night, and they stand there behind where the cash register is, etc., waiting for customers to come in. They have no idea who's going to walk in the door. It could be anyone, right? Now, if you're prepared for anyone from the world of 7 billion people to walk through your door, anyone, then why would you have an inhibition to going live on the internet where there's less of a chance of certain people finding you? And what I mean by that, just to clarify, you open the front door of your store, there are 7 billion people out there on the planet that could possibly, any one of them could walk through your door potentially. But on the internet, all right, not all 7 billion people are connected to the internet, so it's less of a chance of, you get my point. Anyway, so just get online, forget about worry. And I tell you this as well, yeah, if someone's got an issue with you, whether they walk into your shop and see you in person or they see you online, we're very judgmental as human beings. We have to be, from the original days of when the planet was created. It's our survival mechanisms, hunter-gatherer. Okay, so we all judge ideally by vision to begin with, if we're lucky enough to have our vision. Some people don't, so they use the next best thing, their hearing, okay, and they obviously sense of touch, etc., etc. So my advice is that yes, you should just do it and let other people, don't make excuses, let other people decide. If someone wants to come on here and say you look bald and you're fat, yeah, without being too polite about it, because often people aren't, then they've wasted their energy telling you that, and you can block them. It's very unnecessary. More often than not, it's unnecessary to block people online. Let them just waste their energy. If they've got nothing better to do, it's their life, their energy. And you know what? Again, so how many times you've heard of people going to a restaurant, all right, they have a bad experience, they then next day get online and is it Trustpilot and all these other websites, they give an opinion and their verdict as to what the restaurant's like. And they straight away tell everyone, I went to the restaurant yesterday, it was lousy, it was bad, the food was awful. Well, what they actually mean was their starter was bad, but the rest of it was okay. But they don't say that. Now, that feedback is unfair because what they didn't do most of the time is before they left the restaurant, made their point clearly, politely to the management there. Okay. Even if they said to the waiter or waitress, yeah, my food wasn't ideal, there was a problem, they could have just made their point a little bit further and indirectly or directly requested a replacement for the food, or just the fact they're not going to have to pay for it. But if it's a decent restaurant, the restaurant will say to you when the bill comes, you know what, I know that starter wasn't great for you, and although we offered you a replacement, you declined it for whatever reason, so we've wiped that off the bill, or we've given it to you for 50% discount. Yeah. Okay. Now, if that dialogue hasn't happened in the shop, in the restaurant, then don't just go online and complain because you're being unfair. But if people do go online and complain like that, which they often do, then the shop simply needs to be monitoring their social media, in quotes or brackets rather, better, because most of them aren't doing it at all. But monitor your social media online, and when something comes to your attention that someone's put something online, such as that restaurant's bad, real bad, the food's terrible, then you respond appropriately and you say, you know, did you, what I've just said, you can ask the questions. Did you ask, we're really concerned, did you ask before you left the restaurant to speak to management or try and have it resolved? Then often there's not a response from the person who makes the original posting because they didn't go about it the right way. They just want to vent.
Let's take what Joe look what Joe says. But people think that's rude most of the time. I just don't go back. So yeah, people can
No,
be
that's
rude
absolutely,
online.
Joe, you're absolutely wrong. Joe is absolutely wrong there, and I'll
Why?
tell you why.
Why?
Because I'll tell you, Joe. Right, Joe, put yourself in that position. Yeah, you own a restaurant, and you have a chef. One chef. It's a small restaurant. You have one chef there, but today the chef calls you in the morning and says, "I'm ill. Can't come in today. Just got a bit of a cough and a cold. It's definitely not COVID. All right, it's just a bit of a sneezy fit that I'm having. I just need the day off. I'm feeling real bad as well, and I feel like I'm going to be sick again. I've already been, that sort of thing. Right? What do, Joe? Your chef is now not there today, but you've got the whole place booked because you haven't got a lockdown, and it's not, or it might not be COVID anymore or pre-COVID. What do you do? Well, you can either have one of your other staff who metaphorically have put their hand up and said, I'll do it, and volunteer, and you give them a chance, and you just take it easy and calmly. And it doesn't hurt when the customer comes in that day. All right. You can either tell them in advance and just say things are a bit slow at the moment because we're short staffed. Yeah. And afterwards you can be, depending on if they say you can, don't tell them the chef's not there to start with. It's up to you. Maybe you want to, but if you don't tell them the chef's there, you should at the end of it, because it's a good exercise for you, isn't it? An opportunity you can say.
I don't think he's talking about like a big deal like that.
Back to it, Jimmie. I was coming back to it, but thank you.
Okay. Well, now he's getting mad again because I interrupted. Look, all I'm saying is like, yeah, people can be rude on, here. Yelp, David. I don't look at that stuff. Actually, that's not true. I do look at a few reviews. There are a few bad reviews. If there's a lot of bad reviews, then obviously there's something wrong with the restaurant. If I had a restaurant, I'd probably cater a certain crowd. If some other people didn't like it, I don't care. As long as I take care of the customers that I want to come back and want to spread the news, then that's what I would do. Yeah, so that's okay with me. Recently, I've been addicted to was it Ramsey Gordon's what was it called? Kitchen Nightmares. So that's another. Was it British export? Is he Scottish? Or is he British, Martin? Ramsey Gordon. What is he? Is he English or is he Scottish?
I'm afraid, Jimmie, that he only exists in France.
No. He trained in France, but where is he from? You don't know? He doesn't.
Well, we have someone in the UK called Gordon Ramsay, But in
Yeah,
France,
Gordon Ramsay. Okay, okay,
it's
fine.
obviously known as Ramsay Gordon
No,
because the French, as
I'm
you know,
doing the
will tell you that
Japanese
it's a car red rather than a red car. But if you're talking about that person and you've maybe made a mistake, then I understand.
So you're
So
talking
you're
about
talking about Gordon
Ramsay?
Ramsay?
Yeah, you turned your other thing on. He is both Scottish and
No,
British.
I don't.
No, what's
What's
going on?
going on?
You got
Oh,
double
Oh, I see. Now
sound.
you've got. What is going on? There's something very strange going on here, isn't it?
No, you're not me.
Yeah. No, I can't work it out.
Okay, so he was he moved to England when he was
See
young.
how that happened there? That's strange because I've got a device on here.
It's your I think it's your other.
And the strange thing is,
Technical difficulties.
no, Jimmie, the thing.
Technical difficulties.
Oh my goodness! No, This is I was.
Shut your shell. Shut your cell down.
No.
There's
something very strange here at the moment, and what it is that I've muted the device that I think we can hear.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
It's better now. It's better.
Is it?
Yeah.
But now I
It's
can't
clean,
hear
it's clear, it's clean.
myself.
You can't hear yourself. Well, that's a problem. That's not how we do it here. They read
I don't
Yelp
mind.
reviews in lineups and fire servers on the spot. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think here this is a very thing. It's good about America compared to Japan. So Japan is they're polite in restaurants, and they're almost too polite for me because they show no. They have a rule book they have to go by, and they stick very strictly with it. And I like the American style where you can show your personality a bit. So there can be a great server that's really rude, but I kind of like I'll go back there just to experience that. I don't know if that's for everybody, but yeah. So yeah, there's certain people that have a personality, and that's the great thing about America, the individuality of everybody. That's just the way it is, and you're not going to get that in other countries, and that's a good thing about America. There's a lot of individuality. Are you there? Are you okay, Martin? Or are you just listening? I mean,
I'm listening.
England is pretty diverse too, right? As far as your population, because the British Empire, I mean, come on, the past couple 100 years, they're trying to take over the whole world. So you got a lot of, was it Indians there? You got a lot of Chinese there too?
Yeah, we've got a big Chinese community in the UK. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, there are certain positive aspects of that. Was it having a lot of different kind of people living in one place? In Japan, it's very homogenous. It's only Japanese. I kind of thrive in that because I'm an American. I know David says I'm a Japanese American a lot of times, but I am American, just American. And especially here, America. Everybody in America is very interesting. I'm going to tell you something. America is a big, personality crisis, identity crisis. Everybody in America has an identity crisis. Luckily, I think I've traveled the world enough that I don't have that. So, but in Japan, it's very homogenous. So, me being like, even though my mother's Japanese, I'm half Japanese. I'm an American here. So, and I use that to my advantage, of course. In America, everybody has an identity crisis. I don't know what the situation in England is. What's up with that? Martin.
The identity
crisis. Everybody in America has identity crisis.
Right.
Like, who am I? Like, is it there? Are they a color? Are they black? Are they white? Are they red? Are they yellow? Oh yeah, I'm like, they don't know where they're from. Basically, all of them don't know where they're from. Their history is like been skewed. But that's also the beauty of it. That's why all great things that are new, whether it be fashion or whether it be food or whether it be music, is coming from America because it's got a big mashup of all these cultures. So that's the beauty of America.
Well, that's the thing. America's identity, it is a mashup. Yeah. That is very true. But over in the UK, it's becoming a bit of a mashup. I mean, the thing is, these days, what's the number one cuisine in the UK? Most popular is curry, not fish and chips, fish and
Not fish
fries.
and chips. How about
No,
fish and chips with curry?
but that's obviously because we have a lot of immigrants here in England as well, and the
Yeah.
UK. So therefore, they're favouring their native food, I think, and that's why when you weigh up, when you take the statistics, that's why a curry is. I'm not saying that the average sort of Anglo-Saxon
India,
doesn't enjoy a good curry.
India was part of the English Empire.
It
You know,
was
I haven't spent enough time in England to tell you that, but I know Canada is the same way. So, you know, I've worked in Toronto long periods of time at one time, and Canadians have a lot of good curry too. And I had to
uh-huh.
work. I had to work among a lot of Indians, and I remember in the warehouses where the Indians work, even the food trucks are Indian food, which was great. Yeah. What do we got here? Tikka masala, I
Well,
think it is.
yes.
Masala,
Ooh,
yeah, masala.
do you know what
I
our
know.
hidden comment was there? There's a
Uh,
hidden comment
I'll
apparently,
check that later. But let me let
and
me
that
let me
probably
let me
has
do this.
something to do with your. Oh, that's an interesting comment.
Probably has. Oh, here it
Yes.
goes. Probably has something to do with Europeans enslaving Africans. Probably has to do a lot with the Africans enslaving Africans, and the Arabs
Right.
enslaving the Europeans. I mean, it goes on and on. The Chinese enslaving a whole slew of people from was it the coast of Asia? Was it between the Sea of Japan all the way to was it all the way to Poland, Hungary? So yeah, slavery is still alive and well all around the world.
Hmm.
Yeah, not that it's a good thing.
Jimmy, I think I need to do a technical test while we're on this broadcast.
Okay, let's do it. Do it. Do it. I'm okay.
The thing is, you came up on this broadcast. You shared this broadcast. How am I going to do this carefully? Yeah, so you've come up on the broadcast, and oh,
What
end
does this say,
broadcast.
Jimmy Heaven? Wine is fine, but whiskey's quicker. Suicide is slow with liquor. Take
Liquor.
a bottle and drown your sorrows. Then it washes away tomorrows. The great Ozzy Osbourne from England. Where's he from? Birmingham? Birmingham, right?
He is,
Am I
yeah. Ozzy Osbourne is indeed from Birmingham, England, not to be confused with Birmingham, Alabama.
More slaves today than ever has been, Joe says. Probably.
Depends
I
how
think
you're saying it, in what context, and you need to sort of
absolutely.
clarify that more. But this is what we were saying. I mean, earlier on in this broadcast we mentioned sneakers, trainers. They're all being made in the Indian subcontinent, for example, and cheap clothing. The outlets such as Primark, the brand, the store in the UK, purchase. Where are all those? If it's only costing $5 US for a T-shirt, then where's that being made for such a small sum of money?
Okay,
It's somewhere where people get paid like 11 pence
I think
an
that has
hour.
changed. I want a made America. I want made in Japan. I want made in Europe. I think it's okay to outsource things, but I think with the technology now, we need to start doing automation with quality control within the country, and it's possible. It's possible to make $5. You're talking that's cutthroat, but yeah, there is. You can get cutthroat deals. Yeah, but you know what? Those
Jimmy,
deals, what
when I was in New York City, you could buy like for
three for ten
$10
bucks,
3 T-shirts.
three
Yeah,
t-shirts.
so in Chinatown, that sort of part, I mentioned that's kind of the lower east side of Manhattan, and it's very cheap around there with street traders. I'm just mentioning that they have electronics there and everything, but yeah, so just consider that.
Okay, here with Joe. Eastern European girls go missing every day in huge numbers. Actually, I saw was it a Steven Seagal movie about that? Because he's making movies in Eastern Europe now. I just thought I'd say that. Yeah, Eastern,
Okay.
Eastern. Yeah, Ukraine girls really knock me out. To leave the West behind. Right? No? Back in the
Oh,
USSR.
I'm actually checking something technical here as we talk, as
Come
you
on, tell me
talk.
about it. Tell me about it. I'm interested. Tell me about it. What are you doing? What's the
Well, at
technical
the
aspect
moment,
you're
I
talking about?
can't see where Joe's watching on
He's watching on your
strangely
YouTube channel. He's
on.
watching on your YouTube channel. I checked both. He's
Yeah, I
not
think
watching on mine. He's watching on yours. All the comments are showing up on your YouTube channel.
that explains something then. So yeah, that explains exactly what the say the problem is. Yeah, very good. So we'll have to. Where are we? That there. Yeah, there's a few strange things going on here. For right now, though, I was trying to say to you, Jimmie, that if you look, we are live on the ShineCast feed on Haps TV, which is great. That's what we intended for. We're also live because you're featuring. We're live on your Haps channel, but strangely, we're not live on my Haps channel,
What are you talking
which
about?
is,
It is
I say,
live.
it's just a bit
Otherwise, Brenda wouldn't be
confusing,
able on it.
concerning.
Okay, let me go to your channel here. I'm going to go to your channel and check. We're doing some technical.
Right. See,
Yeah,
if I
yeah, yeah.
trusted that information, if I trusted that information, and that's why you need to be on the ball here. You can't just see Jimmie made an assumption but stated it as a fact.
What are you talking about?
So as I was trying to say, because I've already done my research, that someone's trying to confuse me by telling me that what I'm saying is incorrect. We're not actually live on my personal Haps channel, which is strange because I'm a guest on the broadcast. But I think I know what the problem is. I'm going
Are
to
you talking
now.
about ShineCast or Martin Shine?
Ooh,
Are you talking about ShineCast or Martin Shine?
I don't think I could have said it much clearer. I was talking about my. I don't think I could make it much clearer when I was stating that on my personal Haps
Okay.
account, i.e., not the ShineCast one, because I've
I'm
already
looking now.
been
I'm
comparing the
looking now.
ShineCast broadcast that we're involved with your own personal Haps
Okay,
account,
okay,
stating that
okay.
on your own personal Haps account it's working and it is live.
It's not there. Yeah,
I
you're
can
right.
definitely see your buddy, Jim.
Yeah, you're not there. You're not there.
So,
So
so I was wrong what I was saying, or I was right? I'm confused now. I'm very
I can
confused.
hear him too. I don't
A lot
understand
of
what he's
people
talking
agree with
about.
that statement, and now you know
Okay,
why I'm
Martin Shine,
confused.
you're not on your Shine. You have to go to your was it go to your multi you'll go to your multicasting and fix that. Oh no, it shouldn't be. It should be
So,
automatic.
so
You're
when
right.
I
You're right.
join now, my second camera here. What we'll do actually is I'm going to join it. How am I going to do this? It's not rocket science, but let's just do it like this, Jimmie. Here we go. I'm going to say goodbye to Jimmie just for a moment, and that should, it does that. Excellent stuff. Let's switch over to our other camera here. Our can we switch to it, or can we? Jimmie will be back just shortly, everyone. What we need to do is make sure that I press the right button, which is that one. There we go. And now you'll see. Yes. Oh goodness! Now I'm on the broadcast. Okay, I'll bring Jimmie in as well as a. There you go, back again. So look at that, as if one of me isn't enough. So in the middle there, you can now see Jimmie that I. So we have. Well, as I say, if I check my device now, yes, now ShineCast. Excuse me. Now it says that I'm live. So the problem, I can see exactly what the problem is for future broadcasts, and if I go onto my personal page, it would have posted this there right now, I
Yeah,
believe.
David, he has a ShineCast. He has a ShineCast channel and his private Martin Shine channel. So he's wondering if it's going on his Martin
Brilliant.
Shine channel. That's what he's
So
wondering.
now my question is lovely. So now we're live on. We have posted effectively by inviting me in the middle here, there.
You
By
didn't invite
inviting me
yourself.
into the broadcast, everything associated with this. Okay. I shan't
Okay,
explain. I'll just stay satisfied that I know what I'm talking about. Thank you very much, Jimmie.
Okay, Joe, what is this? He's saying, did you just? Okay, wait, no. What is it? Leicester has 20,000 or so. You're talking about slave labor, probably. And then, what do you think about this guy? Who posted this? What do you think about this guy? I'm getting lost here. Trying to find out who. What do you think about this guy? I'm lost. I opened up a site. Is that the? Is that the? Okay, you're a thou. What do you think about this guy? Denmark is developing a digital COVID-19 vaccine passport. So that's what he's talking about. Uh, yeah, I'm not too crazy about that. What do you think? I mean, Martin, you were talking about England is developing some kind of tracking system for the COVID. I really don't like it. I'm not too crazy about that. You know,
Well, I
I
don't
just
think
don't
it
like how
is.
I don't like how they're just like adding things to track you all the time. That's what I don't like. Even though I'm like, I put my location on my cell phone, everybody knows where I am, sure. But the fact that like you're kind of like that's kind of like the labeling of the I don't want to say that, but labeling people was it with a like this is one sort of person or not because of their
Right.
sickness. Yeah, I don't know. It's like tracking people with AIDS. Would that be good? I mean, yeah, I know there's been some cases where people are like sleeping with other people, knowing they have AIDS and not divulging that information to their partner. So, I mean, are you talking about in that sense? I mean, I just don't, I'd like to believe in the goodness of people, like to, yeah. I mean, it's nobody's fault that they're getting the COVID, I mean, yeah, and if they hide it, even, you might think that's bad, but, think about it. Like, some people are going, I mean, some people don't even have work, but they have to go to work and they feel some kind of guilty thing where they have to try to even hide it. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have COVID and are hiding it too. And it's so wrong, but I still can't blame them. I can understand why they would like do that. It's kind of sad, but yeah, maybe it's a little bit too forgiving. Yeah. Again, Martin is not saying anything. We needed some guests because silence is
Oh,
killing me.
I was just listening to you, and yeah, as I say, if you want comment, then absolutely put it in the way of a question. But if you don't want comment, or you're not you're not going to guarantee it if you don't direct your question towards me. But anyway, I think you're doing good there, though, Jimmie. Come on, you're doing well.
Oh, yeah, yeah, but the thing is, like, we got comments that I really can't. Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah, this is Dilbert who's saying that Denmark is developing a digital COVID vaccine. I even changed my name on Facebook. Basically, I'm paying by cash. Most people in my region prefer cash, so I think we beat this COVID hysteria. Well, yeah, but you can't say it doesn't exist. Obviously, and is it as dangerous as they say it is? In some places, it has been. Is it as dangerous now? I think people will be careful, and then you're going to be kind of okay. I mean, the chances are you're going to survive. Um, yeah. Well, and David says, I'm not leaving my house till this COVID crap is over. I don't trust anyone. Well, you know what?
You're going to have to buy a mobile home.
It's like no, it's like that's what the government fucking wants to like almost. It's kind of sucks. Like they've put you into fear. Like okay, I'm lucky. I work at home. I spend all my time at home. I go out once a day to go shopping on my bicycle, and of course I have like washable masks that I use during the day. If I'm gonna go into a train, I'm using the surgical masks. Do I think that they really work? I don't know, but yeah, we're gonna be on the safe side. So you don't trust, yeah, but yeah, I don't I don't know what to say, man. So
Joe,
don't.
thank you very much. That's what I'm going to say because I'm reading the comments and on the case there. Thank you very much for joining us. Please do share, like, follow all of you out there.
Okay,
also, don't forget to rejoin us on YouTube when we're back. By the way, I think we'll find he's going to be just see. Joe's joined us on not by Joe's It's not. It's
Hold on,
not
hold on.
Joe's fault.
It says enjoy your evening, guys. Going for a jog. So what time is it in Norway now? It's 8 hours. 8 hours. Oh, so he's going for an evening jog. Was it? It's freezing in Norway. Damn, I wouldn't be going for a jog. It's like what 6:30 in the evening. The sun has gone down. What like was it? How many hours ago? About 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun's gone down. There's no sun. It's darkness.
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Okay, Brenda. Have a great weekend. Thanks. See ya. Yeah, it's time for us to check out soon anyway.
Is it?
Yes, yes. Okay, you okay? David says 6:30, 6:30 p.m. It was 8 hours. You also live in Japan where the public respects one another. David, that's true. That's true, but depends on how you read it. Of course, yeah, it's very convenient, but you got to remember it's one kind of people, homogenous people that have been here for they living. It's Japanese and Japanese. There's only Japanese people. Okay, there's only Japanese people, so they have some sort of understanding, an unspoken understanding. Everybody feels the same way.
Where did
What?
the Japanese people originate from, Jimmy?
Well, they killed a lot off of the original, like the Europeans killed off a lot of the Native Americans. They had the original natives that were, called the Ainu. They drove them up north, but a lot of them came from the Korean Peninsula about 2,000 years ago, and so it's connection with China and Korea there. So, and let me mention something that theory, you can call it conspiracy theory. Um, that one of the theories is that one of the lost tribes of Israel might have migrated all the way to Japan, and you can see that influence in some of the Buddhist culture, not the Indian Buddhist culture, but the Shinto Buddhist culture that's in Japan regarding the shape, the measurements of the shrines, and some of their celebrations. So yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Some of that has come to Japan. Maybe. Who knows? Interesting. World history. Love it. One of my favorite subjects, of course. Not that I know anything about it. Jimmie, as I remember your mother's Danish. Who's that? No. Dilbert, my mother's Japanese. My father is American, British American. British American meaning that my grandfather is from England. That's regarding my name, Heaven. That's obviously English. I mean, heaven, directly heaven. It's no translation. That's English. Later generations changed it to Evans, but mine stayed Heaven. My mother's from Japan. My mother lives in Denmark. My whole family lives in Denmark. I left Denmark. No, it's no problem. It's okay. Sorry, that's no problem. I left Denmark. Denmark's a great, beautiful place, but yeah, I needed to go back to America. I lived there for about 8 years. I needed to go back to America. Yeah. And then I had to leave America. I'm lucky. I'm like one of the lucky ones. I'm able to move around a lot. I've lived in many different places. I've had the opportunity to live in Poland, Dilbert, where I met you in Warsaw. I've had the opportunity. I was about there 6 months. I've been in 6 months in Bulgaria. I've lived in Denmark. I lived in Germany. I have had the opportunity to live in a lot of places, and I don't have a lot of barriers. I'm unlucky. I don't have a lot of barriers, and there is a way to move around if you want. It is possible. Yeah. Yeah. Dilbert's asking if I'm going to stay in Japan. Yeah. At the moment, I am. At the moment, I am. I don't know if I'm going to stay in Japan forever. Like I tell you, like my old man dream would be like to die around the Mediterranean. So Rome, maybe. Maybe even North in Africa. Was it Morocco, southern
Morocco.
France? Yeah, Morocco. You've been there, right? I have never been there, but I mean, I can imagine that's going to be a great place, right? Morocco, Libya, if it sorts itself out, that area, or what else is there? Turkey, Italy, Spain, France, Algeria, Egypt, all this whole area around there. I mean, you got the cradle of ancient society. So that, because of my interest in history, probably that's a great place to end up. But I might return to the United States for one last time, stay there for another 10 years, and then maybe decide to, yeah, I'm all over the place. I mean, hey, Paris, I'll be in Paris. I'll go to Paris. I'll live in London. I'll live in, I'm all for it. The experience in different cultures is an amazing thing. The world is an amazing place. If you have a chance, go, go. And a 1 week vacation is just not enough for me. I mean, I'll take the 1 week vacation, but
Well, the thing about the USA, Jimmy, is that every state is like a different country. Particularly if you're going to include the other two states as well as what they call the lower 52, that are all bunched together. So Hawaii to Alaska. I mean, that in itself, what a contrast, huh?
Hawaii. I was planning to move to Hawaii before I came to Japan. I was in LA.
Right.
I was planning to move to Hawaii. I had set up everything. And the thing is, like, I had everything set up, but then I got an offer in Japan. They said, can you please, come to Japan for a year for some work to run a restaurant. I was like, well, then I'll go. So then I did, and I came to Japan, and that year has turned into like 6 or 7. What is it? David Billups says, what? I got a lot of friends here in Atlanta from Morocco. They are crazy as hell, my gangsta buddies. Yeah, well, Morocco, yeah. Yeah, Morocco. You've been to Morocco, right?
I
Mark?
have. I've been to Morocco once. It's brilliant there. It was the first. It was such an escape. It really was. I mean, even now, I think if you go there, I'd love to know how they are social distancing in the Medina there, in their market, their central market in the center of the city. I don't think they're going to be able to conduct themselves much differently. And and yet I think we could probably learn a thing or two from cultures like that and places where they just get on with life
Absolutely.
without what we're doing, lockdowns and all that. I'm not going to go back into all that now. And
Egypt too. Egypt is the same way. I watched the video. I don't know. I have a friend in Egypt. I haven't heard, but I watched the video about Egyptians, and Egyptians are living their life regularly, normally.
Yeah, without any too much of a upheaval. Absolutely. Right. What I was trying to explain earlier on is that I do see, and Joe's probably gone now. Joe said.
How about this other guy? Oh, Dilbert, a Facebook user.
As I was
What
getting
do
in the
you
middle of my
think?
sentence, I forgot what I
Oh,
was
sorry.
saying
Go ahead.
now. I've forgotten.
Okay, well, let me get this Dilbert comment. What do you think about Switzerland? Is it good? Is it a good country to live with your family?
I was going to join
there.
the Swiss Navy at one point.
Is it good country to beat COVID mania? We are still looking for a good place to live. I'm not going to give you out your name, but Dilbert's living in Poland. He is Polish. He's been traveling around Europe looking for his place in the world. Switzerland. Well, I recently bought some Swiss coins.
Closest I've been to Poland, I think, is Klaipeda in Lithuania, which is on the coast. It's a major port in that area. So, yeah, I think Switzerland, it depends what lifestyle you want. I mean, if you like skiing, I guess, great. I've never been to Switzerland, but hey, if you want a hustle and bustle of a city, you're not going to get that in Switzerland in the mountains, and you're going to be pretty much blowing the old.
Dilbert's a guitar player. Dilbert's a guitar player, but he could always switch over to yodeling, which is very popular in Switzerland, I think. Or was it Austria? Or anywhere in the Alps, right?
Yeah, I was about to mention that.
I love yodeling. Yodeling is great.
Right,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Was it France? Was the famous yodeler? France?
Yeah, dress up like Heidi and be the lead singer.
What was the famous yodeler? Franz Lang? Franz Lang? Was that the famous yodeler? Yeah, Franz Lang.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Yodel. Hee-hoo. Love it.
Anyway, sorry, Joe, but you're lucky you caught this broadcast, because on this occasion we were broadcasting to the wrong destination on YouTube. It's very strange that happened, in as much as I had a slight inkling before I went to sleep. It wasn't even last night. Now it's as I speak and as we put this out because a lot of people will be watching the replay, potentially. It's now 5:40 p.m. Friday the 15th of January. All right. When I went to sleep, it was about 20 hours. What am I saying? Was it 20, not 20 hours ago? Goodness me. Got to pause. 14 hours ago. No, it can't be right either. 10 hours. I went to bed this morning at around about 7 a.m., just after 7 a.m., which means that, yeah, it was something like, crazily, 11 hours ago or so, wasn't it? Oh, goodness, it would be 11, wouldn't it? But my point is, anyway, is that before I went to head to sleep, on my last sleep, I tried to make sure everything was technically in place in the cloud online for this broadcast, and something suggested to me, YouTube, double check it. And I did double check it, but obviously I needed to check it more than twice because we are broadcasting to my personal YouTube channel. It's not a big problem because what we'll do is the video will be uploaded subsequent to the broadcast to YouTube on the correct YouTube channel for those to see. But my point is that had we not broadcast to the wrong channel, to the unintended YouTube destination, Joe might not have seen us.
What are you talking about? You're on Martin Shine. You mean you wanted to go to ShineCast, but you actually posted it to Martin Shine. Is that the deal? Why didn't you post it to both?
That's what happened. That's correct.
Yeah. Anyway, it's getting close to 3 o'clock.
You're right. I could have posted it to 3. I could have posted it to your one as well.
Yeah,
or to someone else that I know.
Mine. It's posted from mine. It is posted from mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's what? You're not even on ShineCast. It's not on ShineCast.
I think we've just been through that over the last 5 minutes, Jimmy.
I understand, but I just thought it wasn't showing, but it is. It's not there. Anyway, Martin, I got to get going. I know you got to get going. You haven't had.
Where have you got to get going to?
Sleep. I got to get at least 5-6 hours in and get this wine out of me.
It's been very late this
morning. Yeah.
Late broadcast.
It's been a great podcast. I wish that some of these people would join us via video instead of being chickens out there on the World Wide Web.
Not on the Haps app.
Get on Haps. Yeah, get on Haps.
This is the first time they've seen you and heard you on Haps. So
Jimmie Heaven on Haps.
Okay. Right, there's some concerning stuff happening here right now on my screen, so it's definitely time to go. But at least this has been quite a thorough technical test as well, when all said and done. So I'm very pleased about that, despite, as I say, the main hiccup earlier on was nothing to do, I'd like to state, with the Haps app and their platform. It was our internet connectivity here, which did something very strange. But hey, that's kind of still being tested out, although now I'm pretty sure I know what it was, so that's a good thing. But listen, Jimmy.
Yes.
I think it is time for us to say au revoir, arrivederci, and goodbye for now to people.
So long, goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen, good night.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, goodbye, David. Goodbye, Dilbert. Goodbye, Joe. Who else was with us? Goodbye, Brenda. Thanks for joining us. Who else was with us? I'm forgetting some people here. Chris. Goodbye, Chris. Who else did we have?
Yes, stay safe, Brenda, Chris, and
Johnny.
Joe, and David. Johnny, be good. And who else have I missed out there? Our friends in Norway? No. Poland. I'm confused. Goodness me. See, it's definitely late, that's for sure. Notice, by the way, Jimmy, the lighting here was a little bit better, despite there's nothing really ideal to display right now because I'm hiding behind this beard and all this facial hair, as we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast. But yeah, that's the lighting will suffice for now. And so yeah, bye, Chris. Stay safe. Regards to the whole of Brixham, actually, let alone those in your four walls and abode. Heather is obviously who I'm referring to, and we will catch up soon, no doubt, somewhere. People, again, thanks for the awards and the support. That's very much appreciated. Until then, Jimmy, what have you got to say? One more thing? Anything? No.
Good night to everybody. Good night, good day, good morning, good afternoon. Have a great day. I wish you love and peace and all that.
He said
Goodbye.
it. Right, there you go. What's up, Eagle Heaven? Tak vi sis. I think that's something like goodbye.
That's my brother. David's talking about my brother. I don't know. I talk to him sometimes, but yeah. What's up, Eagle Heaven? He's not here, so yeah. Anyway, Tak
There you
vi
go.
sis. Tak. He's
Tak is good.
he's speaking Scandinavian. Dilbert.
Tak is either yes or good, isn't it? Can't remember now. You tell me, Tak. No. Amen, says Paulo. Oh, Paulo's joined us on YouTube. That's good.
Amen. Oh, okay, great. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, he joined us a little too late. I hope we see you again, Paulo.
Go watch the replay. Go watch the replay, and if you want to see the replay, the best place to do it is at ShineCast.live. It will take you to Facebook. The video, if you're watching on YouTube before this video ends live, it probably won't be there for much longer because it's going to be on the ShineCast YouTube channel. Oh goodness, that's all good. All is good. Takis, thank you. Oh, is it? Yes.
Talk,
right. Okay.
Mange talk in Danish. Yeah, talk in Swedish.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I'm definitely. I will. Thanks, man. Right. Good stuff. Everybody. Until next time. Jimmy's saying to you.
Talk.
Nothing.
Good night.
Right on.
Some Danish for you.
So there we are. That's Jimmie Heaven in Nagoya, Japan, and we'll be catching up with him, if not before, then in a week's time from now. And until we meet again on ShineCast or on my own personal channels, you can catch up with Jimmie, obviously, on his Jimmie Heaven on Haps, as he was explaining, and Martin Shine, me, on Haps as well. But you can always just stick with us here on ShineCast, and stay tuned for my next chat with Jimmie. And over the coming weeks and months, we'll have various chats with other people. As we say, in the meantime, stay safe, look after yourselves in this crazy time of COVID and the pandemic. And I'm out of here. I'm just obviously looking at this new technology, well, newish, as we certainly broadcast this first time ShineCast on the Haps platform and various other places. I've got to just make sure I press the right button, which I think I'm about to do, which is good news. Stay safe. Bye-bye for now. Don't forget to follow.